Hello guys, and I'm sorry, but today we have crossed Russia's red lines again. We have hit two of their distilleries again in Voronezh region of the Russian Federation. And don't tell me that's not an escalation. Don't tell me that ethanol is not as strategic for the survival of Russian population product. But if you want me to be serious, these distilleries are part of oil refineries and chemical industrial plants that actually work for the Russian military. Most importantly, today we have another achievement in Berdyansk, which is temporarily occupied by Russians, but Ukrainian partisans are working there and have destroyed very important for Russian logistics bridge. And also all the eyes on Georgia. Will their opposition stop the pro-Russian falsifications during elections? Let's discuss all of these important topics from an ordinary Ukrainian perspective. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Russia defeated, subscribe. We will discuss that on the channel sometime really soon. And trust me, we are working on that, doing our best, for example, by destroying Russian military objects. Ukrainian drones have visited a number of Russian military and chemical plants and targeted distilleries there. From what we see in the recent weeks, it seems like another tactics within the general strategy to demilitarize Russia. And this time we have targeted two distilleries, one in Voronezh region, close to oil refinery, which name I like because it's Anna Nefteprodukt, which can be translated as Anna's oil products. I promise this is not mine. I have nothing in Russia and I'm happy. But their distillery was destroyed, and another one, and I have put down the name, it is Etalon Spirit in another village in Voronezh region. So this seems already like a strategy, and no, it is not targeted on the Russian population to make them feel depressed without the supply of spirits, but it is meant to paralyze their chemical production. Because as you know, while constructing various explosives, various elements, ethanol is needed. So by targeting such distilleries, we actually paralyze the production of weapons, and this is good. But most importantly, we also work on the liberation of Ukrainian territories. Despite this paralysis caused by elections everywhere, starting from the United States and finishing with Georgia and Moldova, our neighbors and other victims of the Russian imperial character, Russia tries to advance quickly because nobody knows what will happen after the 5th of November. Honestly, I don't like it because I think that countries have to remain united no matter who is the president of which country, because Russia, Iran, North Korea, they are evil, and it's obvious no matter who is the leader anywhere in a more or less healthy democratic country. But right now, when the world is paralyzed, Russia tries to break front lines in one direction. Ukrainians and Ukrainian partisans are working on the temporarily occupied territories, and tonight they have managed to destroy a railroad bridge in Berdyansk. It was super important for the logistics and transportation of weapons for the Russian army. So this is a success, and I'm very grateful to those brave people who continue fighting for Ukraine on temporarily occupied territories. And that is why please never advise Ukrainians to give up territories, because these are not territories. These are people, their lives, their memories, their homes, their graveyards, their schools, their trees, their orchards, everything, their streets. Do you feel like giving something to another country that borders with you? Or maybe you want to give some of your territories to let Russia come down? No. Taking into account all of its crimes, taking into account its disrespect to the world order, I think Russia does not deserve any territories given to it. Maybe some territories taken away from it. Subscribe if you want to see the dissolution of the Russian Federation, which from my perspective, Ukrainian perspective, experienced perspective, I believe is the only way to liberate the population of the Moscow. So let's make Russia small again. And we are working on that. But unfortunately, this agony of empire is always a very complex and very dangerous process. You can literally imagine a big dinosaur that is in seizures, ready to collapse, but before that, its huge body can actually cause lots of injuries to the ones on which it falls. This is how I can describe Russia at the moment, and the experiments, political hybrid war experiments in countries like Moldova and Georgia. You know, they have elections there too. And in Moldova, we may say that the referendum succeeded and the majority of people supported EU despite all the efforts of Russian informational warfare. And in Georgia, they are trying to steal the elections. Why am I saying so? Because two independent polls in this country demonstrated that people did not give 53% to their governmental party, Georgian Dream. 43 is the realistic results, but they are trying to artificially add themselves 10% to not need coalitions and so on. Unfortunately, as with all democratic powers, Georgian opposition did not manage to unite in one bloc. They were all separated, and right now they are ready to unite. You can see people on the streets protesting. I am actually happy that the president of Georgia supports them. And this country is a vivid illustration of how Russia keeps interfering in political life of its former republic. Actually, I think that Putin's madness began with the attack on Georgia in 2008. Weakness of our allies also began in 2008 when they did not react to Russian tanks moving in that direction of Tbilisi. And I was very proud that the Ukrainian president at that moment, Viktor Yushchenko, whom we supported during the Orange Revolution together with leaders from Poland, Lithuania, and some other countries who know what Russia is, flew to Tbilisi, and actually their presence on this rallies in the center of the Georgian capital stopped movement of Russian tanks just like dozens of kilometers away from it. And Russia occupied parts of Georgia, creating these quasi-republics, fake republics, same as DPR and LPR in Ukraine, just the same scenario. And somehow people keep observing what will happen next. Unpunished evil grows. Unpunished dictators have bigger appetites. And believe me, in Putin's head, he has lots of bad plans and special military operations potentially developed for you too. Don't judge him as a normal person. Don't judge him by your standards. He has clearly demonstrated the madness, irrationality, and imperial character of the 18th, 19th century, something that is long in the past for the democratic countries. And that is why it's vital for the survival of the democratic world to support countries that fight for democracy, which protect these values not in poems, not during like classes or some ceremonies, but with our blood, with our lives. We stand for democracy, we stand for freedom. These are not words. And oh my God, guys, love for your country is real. I feel it every day. And that's why we need to help Georgia, Moldova, Ukraine. Don't think that by isolating yourself, you can actually avoid the problems. You make China, North Korea, Russia, Iran stronger. They unite, and they unite not against Ukraine. Too much honor, you know. I've read that Pentagon says that if North Korean soldiers will actively participate in war against Ukraine, Ukraine will be allowed to strike back and no more limitations. Honestly, as a Ukrainian, I don't believe it. Let me know in the comments below, have you heard that? And do you think it's possible that someday we will be allowed to defend ourselves? Anyway, share the videos on your social media platforms to help us spread more information about Ukraine and fight against Russian propaganda. Join me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord. All the links that you need are in the description of this video. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Remember to check our merch shop. We have lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Do vote on your elections. Don't let others steal your opinion. It is very important because people in the countries like Russia don't have this opportunity. Just imagine one president during the last 24 years. Oh my God, that's the way Ukrainians cross Orthodox. Anyway, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for standing with Ukraine. I know we are strong together. Don't you doubt that. Don't be tired. You cannot be tired at war. I'm not. Slava Ukraini!